Forget budgeting. Instead, let's try to build an active spending plan. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Free to Be, and this week I want to discuss in a little bit further detail how to create an active spending plan. Now, I touched on this a little bit a couple weeks ago in another video, and if you want to check that out, I'll link it down below for you. But basically, an active spending plan is an alternative to those folks who don't want to create a budget because a budget can be an overwhelming and daunting task. An active spending plan, similar to a budget, it's more forward-looking and it is easier because you can narrow it down to just 5 categories, or you can make it as detailed as you want. It's really up to you. So let's get started. All right, now before we get started, as always, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. Turn on those notifications because we discuss financial literacy here on this channel and you're not going to want to miss any of the videos. And one more thing, I am going to be doing that giveaway. Hopefully that giveaway is active. And if you want to learn more about it, go ahead and click on the link in the description. I will detail that video and the giveaway rules. So make sure you watch that video so you can become eligible for the $100 Amazon gift card giveaway at the end of this month. Okay, so again, building a budget can be a daunting task, but if you are interested in doing that, I'll link my video about how to build a better budget up here and down in the description, so check that out. And if you're here because the budget was overwhelming, it was too difficult to create a budget, well, this is a great alternative. It's called an active spending plan. And basically what this does is breaks down your income into 4 to 5 categories. And within those categories, you can be as detailed as you want. You can even break it down further into several subcategories. But basically, if you don't want to do anything else, you just go ahead and break your income down into 5 groups. And within these groups, you'll kind of allocate your money accordingly, and it will be way easier to track your spending in the future and in any given month. And with an active spending plan, what you're really doing is tracking your expected expenses rather than money you've already spent. Okay, so the 4 core categories for creating an active spending plan are going to be fixed costs, long-term spending, saving goals, and guilt-free spending. And what you're going to do is you're going to basically allocate a percentage of your income to each of these categories. So, for example, fixed costs. Those are things like rent, groceries, utilities, anything that's fixed on a month-to-month basis. You're going to basically allocate, let's say 60% of your income to fixed costs. And that's just going to be month over month, never going to change. Those are your fixed costs. Next, you have your long-term investments. This is going to be like 401ks, Roth IRAs, a brokerage account, whatever that may be. You're going to then allocate another fraction of your income to that category. So if you're putting 60% in fixed costs, then maybe put 15% allocated to the long-term investments. And then you have like savings goals. So savings goals are going to be like holiday gifts, birthday gifts, vacations, if you want to save to put a down payment on a car or a home. Again, allocate a portion of your total income to this, bucket. So another 15%. So if you're putting 60% for fixed costs, 15% for, long-term investments, and then another 15% towards savings goals, now you're basically 90% of your income covers these 3 categories. And again, you can break down these categories into subcategories. So right now we have 60% in fixed costs, 15% in long-term investments, 15% for savings goals. That's 90% of your income allocated to these 3 buckets. And if you want it to be more meticulous and you want it to be more detailed, you can create the subcategories and allocate even smaller fractions of that income within that. So example, fixed costs, you want to break it down to rent, car payment, and put in 20% for each, something like that. You could. This is just for those people who are overwhelmed with creating a budget. It's an easier, more simple way to kind of look about what you're bringing in, your money, and how you're spending it on a month-to-month basis. And so if 90% of your income covers, the fixed costs, long-term investments, and savings goals, you have 10% left. And that 10% can be allocated to guilt-free shopping. And as long as you stick to that plan and only spend about 10% of your monthly income on guilt-free shopping, you're going to have no problem. You won't have to look back and be like, I overspent this month, where with a budget sometimes that can be the case. You won't have that case here. You won't have that scenario because you're building an active spending plan. So stick to it. 10% or less, buy whatever you want to buy. And by allocating your money this way, it's really giving you a lot more freedom and flexibility going forward, determining what you have. If you stick to spending only that 10% on guilt-free purchases, you'll never worry about overspending. You've taken care of all your responsibilities first, and it's just an easier way to approach building some kind of structure with your income. Alright guys, well that's all I have for this week. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on those notifications, and we'll see you next time.